Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome, insiders. Happy Wednesday to everybody. Welcome to this Facebook Live edition where we're going to be discussing the 3 appeal lanes that you can go ahead and take care of if your claim is denied. Your disability claim is denied. So let's go ahead and get a quick introduction out of the way, and then we'll spend time discussing this topic. Again, thank you so much for joining us here today. Let's go ahead and have you all sound off in the comments. Go ahead and add your branch and maybe the years you served. Let us know if you're an elite member already or where you are in the claims process. We'd love to interact with you as we go forward here. So again, drop your branch, the years you served, and again, we'll give you a couple shout outs here in a minute. My name is Caleb McLagan. I'm a senior veteran coach here with VA Claims Insider. So excited to be here discussing this topic with you all. Welcome on this Wednesday. Here we are at the end of July, which is crazy. I'm joined here by my co-host, Daryl McDonald. He's also an SVC here within the organization, a senior veteran coach. What's going on, Daryl? How are you?
I'm living the I'm living the dream. I don't know where that came from. I'm living the dream. Yeah, this is an awesome company, awesome place to work, and just kind of reminding everybody that we are not accredited agents, VSOs or attorneys or anything like that. So this is education based, which is right up my alley too. So yeah, thanks for allowing me to do this session with you, Caleb. It's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to have a great time over this hour or so. So, thanks so much for joining me here. A little bit about myself, and then Daryl, I'll pass it over to you. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your time in service and history with the VA, and then history here with our organization. So, again, my name is Caleb. I served 5 years active duty in the United States Marine Corps. I was in the infantry. Went on a couple deployments, have a couple deployments under my belt. I actually became a client of VACI a few years ago while I was going through school using my GI Bill. And then I partnered up with a coach here, which is what we specialize in doing here, is that one-on-one coaching and consulting model here. So I partnered up with my coach here, and he was able to walk me through a strategy. He armed me with a bunch of education, and then he recommended medical evidence that I needed to go prove my claim with the VA, because the number one reason that the VA denies claims is based on that lack of medical evidence. So we'll be talking a little bit more about that here today. But anyway, I partnered up with this company and was able to win all of my claims. And I am 100% permanent total service connected veteran. So now I get to share my success with other veterans. And show them the way, reach back and show them the way, how to navigate this VA process, this VA disability claims process. And it's so rewarding. I love sharing my success with all of my veterans during this time that I've been here, which is about a year and a half. So it's been quite the ride. And again, I love sharing my experience with all of my veterans. So anyway, thanks for co-hosting with me, Daryl. Appreciate you being here, and we're gonna have a lot of fun here. Tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, let's do that. So I'm a Marine as well, slightly older than Caleb, but I served for 4 years during the Gulf War. I got out shortly after the Gulf War. Unfortunately for me, there wasn't a company like this to help me get through the process. So it was a lot of trial and error on my part. So I can empathize a lot with the veterans who are going through this process, who aren't utilizing this company, or who maybe are but are struggling. It did take me 16 years, but I am 100% permanent and total as well. And I actually did work for the VA. I was a rating specialist with the VA for 6.5 out of 11 years of my time with the Veterans Administration. So I learned a lot of the ins and outs of what we can do, what we can't do, what we need to do in order to help make those claims successful. So I like sharing that experience with my veterans. Of course, I like sharing it with everybody in the company as well. So that's me. That's where I'm at.
Love it. Well, Semper Fi to your brother, Semper Fi to all the other Marines we have here watching us on this Facebook Live today. Let's give a few shout outs. What do you say?
Yeah, there's Richard Wagner with the Army Medic from 65 to 67. Tucson.
Wow. Hey, Richard, thank you so much for your service. And I'll say that as well, from one veteran to another, thank you so much for your service. You raised your right hand, and decided to sign on the dotted line. You signed your life away for our country for a period of time. So thank you so much for your service, and thank you for allowing us to take a small part of your time today and talk about our program, talk about this topic, and help answer any of your questions that you have throughout this disability process. So Richard, great to have you here. Served back in the 60s. Glad you're checking in with us. Let's see, we got David checking in, United States Navy in the 80s and 90s. Welcome, brother. Bill served in the Air Force. Let's see, Dan. Yeah, David again. Yeah, good morning, brother. Happy to see you here. Yeah, we're thankful that you're a member here with our elite program. Thank you for checking in with us. Really appreciate that. Let's see, Marlene, Air Force, 80s and 90s. Lee, Army, 2001 to the present. Awesome.
Got a couple of devil dogs in here, Mark Tuggle and Michael Diaz, Semper Fi, Ra. Hey, if you go back up, there was a veteran that's from Blythe, California. And if you've ever been to Blythe, California, I used to live in Yuma, Arizona, which is close to Blythe. Yeah. Blythe is such a small town, very out there in the middle of the desert, but it's a fun little town too. So
yeah.
They're probably struggling with some heat today.
Yeah, I was going to say it's probably super hot down there today, being here at the end of July. So awesome. Let's see. We got Peter checking in from Miami, Florida. Hot down there for sure. Let's see. Michael, Marine Corps, combat engineer. Love my engineers. They rolled with us with our infantry line company. Love my engineers. Absolutely. Brandon talking about his claim, evidence gathering for 2 years. Yeah, we're gonna get to some questions and answers certainly as we go through this topic. So thanks for checking in, Brandon. Appreciate you. Got a Facebook user, Air Force, 89 to 99. Richie, retired, 92 to 14. Thank you for being here, Richie. John, living in Japan. Awesome. Checking in with us from over the Pacific Ocean. Awesome. Thank you, John, for being here.
76 to 02. Yeah. You know, Caleb, I really love seeing a lot of those Vietnam era veterans come onto these classes and even working with those Vietnam veterans because you know, they didn't get the welcome they deserved coming home. So it's nice to see them taking control of their claims and working through the process.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, a special thank you for your service to our Vietnam veterans checking in with us today. So, yeah, glad you're here. Checking in with us and appreciate your service and appreciate your lives dedicated to our country. So thank you so much. All right, we'll get into a few more shout outs. Again, we'll do some question and answer time. We're going to introduce our topic. We'll talk a little bit about our VA Claims Insider Elite program. So if you're stuck, frustrated, underrated, you know, if you have any questions about your claim, jump on our website, check us out. Book a 30-minute discovery call that we have with some of our intake personnel. They'll be happy to answer any questions and find out if we're a good fit for you, if our organization is a good fit for you, and if you're a good fit for us. You know, so again, jump on that strategy. I'm sorry, that free discovery call and see if our organization is a good fit for you. So a little bit about our elite program. Okay, our job again as coaches, we're not accredited VSOs. We're not agents or attorneys. Okay. We are an education and consulting company. Okay. So what that means is we have developed this process or this elite program around a one-on-one coaching model. Okay. So that one-on-one coaching model looks a lot like having strategy sessions with your coach who's an expert in the disability process. Claim submission walkthroughs where you build your claim and you submit your claim, but we're there to help answer any questions along the way. And then we also offer compensation and pension exam preparation calls and classes so you can be better prepared for what we call the most important day of that entire VA claims process, right? The compensation and pension exam. So that's a little bit about our one-on-one model. We do offer live classes via Zoom every day, Monday through Friday. And on every other Saturday, we offer a high-level masterclass as well. So again, it's about 3 times a day throughout the week. We have a coffee with a coach's hour, every morning starting at 8 o'clock Central. And we hang out for the hour. We answer some questions. We talk about our hobbies. We talk about our life. So it's a really great way to break into the day with your fellow veterans and really, in this remote world that we live in, really, jump in a Zoom room and hang out with your fellow veterans and talk about life. And again, also the disability claim process. We have classes specialized with question and answer, where we'll come with a topic, but question and answer sessions. Again, C&P preparation classes. So again, that's a little bit of what we offer. Again, with that one-on-one coaching model, as well as the live classes where we open up a Zoom room and we have a bunch of coaches there answering a bunch of questions and talking about these specialized topics. Daryl, anything you'd like to add there about our program?
Yeah, you know what? You talked briefly about the coffee with the coaches in the morning. That's always a great time for veterans to build. They build relationships with each other also. So it's not just us getting up and presenting. It's more of a community of veterans that come together and share their experiences, share what their frustrations with the VA, their frustrations with the process. So it's if you're not a member now, I would definitely become a member. Like I said before, I wish this company would have existed back when I was going through the process, because I definitely would have been a member.
Yeah.
Just the expertise that the coaches have, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, 100%. And again, if you want to, have that discovery call, jump on that link that we're going to drop there in the chat. Have a conversation with one of our intake specialists. They'll be happy to break down your situation and our program even further. And again, figure out if we're a good fit for each other to help you out. Okay, so if you need that help, please reach out to our organization, vaclaimsinsider.com. Grab some time with that intake specialist, and we'd be happy to guide you literally the rest of the way through the process. We'd love to partner with you throughout your VA claims journey.
Well, and if you already know you want to become a member and you're not yet a member, they did put your link, your direct link, and my direct link in the chat. So yeah, absolutely. If you if you already know you want to become a member and you like what you're hearing, go ahead and sign up with one of us. That'd be great.
Hey, yeah, it would be an honor and a privilege.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it would be an honor and a privilege. All righty. Well, okay, so we've broken down what our company looks like. Let's go ahead and what do you say, Daryl? We dive right into this topic. What do you think?
Let's do it. Let's talk. Like, you want to start off talking about the appeals modernization?
Yeah, you know what? Why don't you go ahead and handle that? And I'm only going to defer to you because you are the resident expert. This is something that you actually, I guess, kind of lived through, right? This change with the VA.
Yes.
But let's go ahead and jump in. This is the moment you've all been waiting for. We're going to discuss, the 3 options to consider if your VA claim was denied. That's our topic for today. The 3 options to consider if your VA claim was denied. So yeah, Daryl, go ahead and kick it off, brother.
Absolutely. So everybody that ever filed a claim before February of 2019 knows that once you were denied, you were basically denied. Mm-hmm. If you wanted to reopen your claim, which is what they called it then, you had to come up with new and material evidence in order to substantiate that claim. But most of the time, that claim went to an appeals process. Now, that appeals process, which is now called the legacy appeals, that appeals process could take 5, 6, 7 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So the VA, in their infinite wisdom, and I do grant them this because it's probably one of the best things they've done.
Yes.
They decided that instead of making veterans wait for that long, because a lot of those claims could have been resolved. They were either rater error, or a law change error, or something along that line. So the VA decided we need to change the way we do our appeals, right? So in comes the Appeals Modernization Act, and it was actually signed by the president in August of 2017, but wasn't enacted till 2019, February 2019. So with the VA, things change happens slowly, but it does happen. So now they've offered up, instead of having that one just generalized appeal lane, now they've opened it up so they have 3 different lanes that you can choose from. And I'll just hit them real quick, and then we'll go more in depth of those. So they have the supplemental claim, right? Then they have the HLR, the higher level review claim. and then they have they do have the option to go to the BVA or the Board of Veterans Appeals um, for when those two other lanes don't work properly.
Okay.
Right. So yeah, I mean, for me, the Appeals Modernization Act, it increased workload, but it also decreased the amount of time veterans were waiting. And this was all part of their attempt their attempt to break the backlog of appeals claims. And as far as I know, it's working pretty well.
Okay. All right. So basically, bottom line, by enacting this appeals modernization, it's sped up the process for all the veterans that the VA or that have been filing claims with the VA, right?
Correct. Yeah, it just broke down that appeals lane to more to easier lanes for the veterans to maneuver through.
All right, awesome. And those three lanes that you mentioned, the supplemental claim lane, the higher level appeal or higher level review, and then the appeal to the BVA, the Board of Veterans Appeals. So, okay, cool. Okay, so let's go ahead and discuss the first option. So, first option, your supplemental claim lane, right? This is a really great option to go down if you have new and relevant evidence that has popped up since you filed your original claim. Okay, so you can file the supplemental claim, for more than one issue decided by the VA, but you must list them when you actually file. So can you talk a little bit about the new and relevant evidence, Daryl?
Yeah, absolutely. So it used to be called, back in the day, like I said earlier, it used to be called new and material, and so they changed it with the supplemental claim to new and relevant information, because submitting a DD 214 or something like that they've already got of record doesn't do you any good. So, and that's the main point. Any evidence you submit has to be new and relevant, which is evidence that the VA has not used in the past to consider the claim. And the supplemental claim is used for those claims that were previously denied. All right.
So your original claim was denied. Maybe you submitted it with a personal statement and it was denied. That was the only evidence, along with your military records and VA records. But now you need to add something new in terms of medical evidence or some sort of evidence, new and relevant to that claim, that will help prove that claim. Correct?
Correct. And some examples of new and relevant information would be if you were denied before and you didn't have a nexus, or you didn't have that linking your condition to service, getting a nexus statement, just stating that it's at least as likely as not, or most likely than not, that your condition is related to either another service connected condition or to your service. Test medical examinations, right? So the two most common reasons a claim is denied is either one, there's no link to service, or two, there's no diagnosis. So if you come in with new and relevant evidence showing that there's a link to your service, or that you have now a diagnosis and linking that to service, that's how your claim is going to be the most successful. That's what gives you the advantage. Simply submitting something like a buddy statement or a personal statement will not necessarily put it as a new and relevant information, and will not reopen it as a supplemental claim. So you got to be really spot on with the evidence that you're submitting with that claim.
Okay. Yeah. And you mentioned it, I think we mentioned it a couple of times, but the number one reason that the VA denies claims is that lack of medical evidence.
Mm-hmm.
So that nexus letter, or that independent medical opinion linking an in-service event to a current diagnosis, is key when submitting the vast majority of claims. So, and again, this is what our organization does day in and day out. We come alongside you with our one-on-one coaching model, and we'll point you in the right direction of securing those nexus letters, securing those independent medical opinions through some of our referral partners that we have a great business working relationship with. So, how about, what else have you seen when you were a former Raider? What other evidence did you see submitted even for the first time, or maybe with a supplemental claim? I've had some veterans talk about sort of out of the box situations, like I have a photo of me standing in Iraq in front of an oil pit that was burning, and we're trying to prove their respiratory condition for some sort of presumptive condition. So photos, news articles, how does the VA weigh those pieces of evidence?
It's funny you asked that, because as I was given that information, I just thought of other ways. So when I was a rating specialist, and this is more specific for Vietnam era veterans because record keeping wasn't that great back then.
Right.
Most of the time you can verify Vietnam service either through the personnel file or on the DD-214. It'll say RVN or Vietnam service, something along that line. But I was having a really hard time getting this veteran, finding the evidence to show this veteran was deployed to Vietnam. And sure enough, he sent in a picture of himself with his buddies in Vietnam, standing right there. So we were able to concede Vietnam service based on just that picture.
Wow.
I've had veterans submit letters that they wrote home, right, with that APO address from San Francisco, and we've been able to use that to verify service. So there are some out of the box ways to substantiate your claim like that, and being able to do that, and just kind of looking over diaries, journal entries. Sometimes those can be effective. News articles. The hard ones are the submariners. A lot of their stuff was classified and it remains classified. So those are some hard ones, but the VA is making strides on that even today, and we'll do another video on that, I'm sure, in the future.
Okay. Speaking about other evidence to submit, I have a veteran who I was helping him walk through a claim for a condition, and he said, I have this letter that I wrote home while I was in country, and it's dated. It has the address. It has my experiences. I wrote down what I was going through, and he was previously denied. So we went out, we got him a nexus letter. I pointed him to the right direction to get a nexus letter. And then we're also adding this letter. Again, sometimes you might have to be creative to come up with these out of the box ways of helping the VA understand your situation, and helping prove that you were, in country, at that location during the appropriate or correct time frame. So, yeah. Real quick, since we're on the topic, Mark asked a question: can you have a supplemental claim and a new claim open at the same time? The quick answer is yes, absolutely. You can have that new claim open along with the supplemental claim. They're two different lanes. So yes, you are allowed to have both open at the same time. So quick little answer there.
Yeah, and can I you just got to be really careful when you do that. So because if your supplemental claim is something that was denied, and your new claim is secondary to that supplemental claim, avoid it. Avoid it to start with. Get that service connected first.
Right. Make sure that condition is service connected first. But technically, yes, you can have both open at the same time. Yeah. Okay, so a few examples of when you should file a supplemental claim. So you have a previous denial, you were previously denied a claim and wish to reopen a claim based on that new and relevant evidence that we've been talking about. A quick note here, this will reset the effective date when you reopen the claim, okay? So not when you initially filed the original claim, it will reopen. When you reopen this new supplemental claim, it will reset that effective date. So a quick note about that. Anything to add there, Daryl?
Yeah, so the reason it resets, the VA made a decision using the evidence that you had submitted, and now you're submitting new evidence that wasn't considered in the previous rating decision. So that is why it resets. Okay, so now they're basing it off of new evidence that was submitted.
Yep. Okay. Yep. Thanks for the clarification. Yeah, totally makes sense. Okay. Another example: your rating doesn't match your symptoms. You could provide additional medical evidence to support that your symptoms are more severe than your initial rating decision from the VA. Okay, so another important example there. Another example of filing a supplemental is your BVA appeal was denied. So you can go back and submit that new and relevant evidence and file that actual the supplemental claim. One thing to remember here, you must submit the new evidence you want to be considered as part of your supplemental claim. Again, it has to pertain to that condition along with the severity of those symptoms, and then a few other pieces of information to consider. An exam. Sometimes the VA will request an additional exam when you file that supplemental claim, but not always. So sometimes when you do file that supplemental claim with the new and relevant information or evidence, it will trigger a new C&P exam, because basically the VA has a few more questions and they want a medical provider or a doctor to assess your situation. Is that about right, Daryl?
That is absolutely correct. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Um,
Right. Cool.
So the average waiting time on these claims too is noteworthy. They're usually about 125 days on average. Now, remember, that's an average. Sometimes it takes less, sometimes it takes more. Has been my experience with the VA. They were doing a really good job, and now they've kind of slowed down on those a little bit. So that's the average waiting time. So if it goes over 125 days, don't worry, don't get scared. Just keep your eye on va.gov or e-benefits.
Right. And another note there, va.gov with supplemental claims doesn't always update the status, right? It just says something generic like we don't have a status update, stand by. The average wait time is 125 days. So, when you file a supplemental claim, you're going to be in it for the long haul. So you just gotta practice that gift of patience, I guess, which is sometimes really difficult for us veterans to do. So, okay, so bottom line, we'll kind of tie this the supplemental claim conversation off. The supplemental claim is a really great option when you receive that unfavorable decision from the VA and you have that new evidence that maybe you forgot to submit with the original claim, or maybe something resurfaced. So by submitting that supplemental claim within the 1-year time frame of your VA decision, you do keep that initial effective date, which is great. And you potentially could receive some back pay for that as well. So just a couple things to keep in mind there as we tie this off. All right, option number 2, an HLR, that higher level review. From what we found here at VA Claims Insider, it is one of the easiest reviews that you can request. When you file that higher level review, an experienced decision review officer who wasn't involved in the original decision will take a fresh look at your claim. So a brand new set of eyes with a really, really experienced decision review officer. So that's a really great avenue to go again. If you experience a denial. Daryl, anything else to add there?
Yeah. So when you're looking at a higher level review, back in the day, that was the appeal route you went. Was your claim was looked at by what's called a decision review officer. All right. Those decision review officers, as well as the higher level review specialist, they had the ability to do a de novo review, which is a review of your entire file. So they've got that experience. They can go back and look over everything and either make a new decision. But one thing they can't do, which I find is just purely beneficial to the veteran. So if you have a mental health condition and they assign a 50% evaluation and you feel like you should have been at a 70, so you file that higher level review, the higher level reviewer cannot reduce that 50%. They can only grant higher or confirm and continue the 50% decision. So, that's a beneficial route to go, especially if you feel like your symptoms were a lot worse than the VA came back with, or you had medical evidence that shows that your symptoms were a lot worse than the VA came back with. I love the higher level review route, and we have had a lot of success. And I think part of that is during COVID, the VA lost a bunch of employees, and then they hired a bunch of employees, and those employees go through training. They go through an 8-week training course, 4 weeks of internet web-based training, and then they go into either Baltimore or Colorado for 4 weeks of training also. But they're not necessarily that experienced. So when they're going through claims, mistakes are made, and having somebody with more experience look through those a lot of times overturns that decision.
Right. Yeah, no, couple great points there. I see a couple comments here in the chat. We'll definitely get to these. A few more points here. Reasons to choose that higher level review. So if the VA has made a mistake in deciding your original disability claim, a higher level review may be the best option for you. The time is the biggest factor when choosing the HLR. These decisions generally come back a lot faster than the appeal to the Board of Veterans Appeals, so to the BVA. So, considering that HLR is a really great avenue to go. Now, one of the biggest things, right? Oh, well, I guess there are really two big factors between the supplemental claim and the HLR, right? Like the HLR, the higher level review, must be filed within 12 months since that denial came back. Okay, so if you're inside that 12 months, that previous decision or that previous claim that was denied is eligible for a higher level review. If you're outside that 12 months, that option it will be off the table. So you'll have to go the supplemental route and submit new and relevant evidence. Okay. The other thing with the higher level review is you're not allowed to submit any new evidence like you were able to do with the supplemental claim. So two huge differences between the supplemental claim and the higher level review. So just want to introduce that comparing and contrast element there. So,
and Caleb, if I could, I just want to address one question. It says, wouldn't it be better to try an HLR first? Mark Northcutt put that out there. It all really depends on your situation.
Right.
If you know that you submitted that relevant medical evidence and it wasn't considered as part of your claim, definitely do a higher level review. If you feel like you should have got a higher rating than you did get, definitely do a higher level review. But if it's coming back and they're saying you don't have evidence linking this to this, that's when you're going to have to do that supplemental claim. So it really all depends on the situation you're in, which one you're going to do first.
And again, a lot of that information will come in your decision letter, right? So your decision letter will tell you what evidence was considered when they decided your claim, and based on the evidence considered, that usually tells you which way to go, which appeals route to go. Again, we're just listing out the three options here, not necessarily in any particular order. But if you submitted a solid claim with solid medical evidence to back up that claim with the VA, and they denied you and they considered all that evidence, the HLR route, that higher level review route, will most likely be the best way to go. So, great question, Mark. Thank you so much.
I'd like to just kind of throw a little caveat out there too. Caveat. Anyway,
we're Marines. Okay.
So if you're already service connected for a condition, and even if you're at 0%, really the supplemental claim or the HLR claim, if it's been past that year, definitely if it's been past that year, neither one of these lanes are going to be beneficial to you. You're going to want to just go and build your medical evidence and submit for an increase in your evaluation. Mm-hmm. So if you're at 0%, and I saw somebody, Jim Peterson. Yeah. So just know that if you're already service connected for a condition and you want an increase in that condition, build your medical evidence, submit the increase. Don't worry about the higher level review. Don't worry about the supplemental claim.
Yeah, no, great point there. Yeah, no, that's a fantastic question, Jim. Thank you so much. And great explanation. Thanks, Daryl. All right, so a couple of examples here of when to file that HLR. So the VA made a processing error. An example would be if you file the intent to file a claim within a year of filing, and the VA gives you an incorrect effective date for your rating decision. That senior level reviewer will take a look at that, and they could backdate that effective date to the original filing date. So really a powerful strategy. Going down this HLR route for that example. And then another example is if the VA failed to consider evidence. Okay, so on your decision letter, like we just spoke about, the VA details the reason for their decision, but if they don't discuss the specific evidence you submitted in your claim, you may want to consider filing that HLR to request a consideration of the original evidence that you submitted with the original decision. Anything there to touch on, Daryl?
If you're going to do it based on that, just make sure that you did submit that evidence. And what I've had veterans do, I've actually had them take a screenshot when they submit evidence on their e-benefits page. It'll say what evidence has been uploaded, and take a screenshot of that, and it gives the date and time and everything that it was submitted. And that way you have that evidence.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, let's rattle off a couple more examples here. Okay,
Mhm.
so an example of why you would want to go down the HLR route: inadequate reasons or a rationale or basis. The rating decision doesn't tell much or consider the evidence you provided. So what you're going to want to do is make the VA explain why they denied your claim and have them be very specific. Okay, so and that, again, that's another great reason to go after this HLR option. Another example: your rating doesn't match your evidence. If your rating decision letter gives you a lower rating than what matches your symptoms that have been documented with perhaps that nexus letter or other medical evidence, again, a great option is going this HLR route. Can you touch on a couple other important pieces of information here about an exam or filing time?
Well,
The
an examination, most of the time, if the rating specialist decides, or the higher level reviewer decides that there was a 3.159, the duty to assist error. If there was a duty to assist error, they will send it back, and it'll look like it goes back to the supplemental lane. But really, what they're doing is they're requesting an examination that should have been requested up front. So don't be surprised if you're doing a higher level review and you get an exam request. It does happen. It does happen quite often, actually. Like I said before, there's a bunch of new rating specialists out there. I just learned that the Atlanta office is hiring 125 raters just for their office alone. So yeah, there's a shortage, which is probably explains why they're taking a little bit longer now. But when you're doing your HLR, you do have the opportunity to speak to a specialist, to the person looking at your claim. With that, I don't have a problem if a veteran wants to do that. I think if they're able to speak to what they're wanting or what they're needing, that's a good route to go. But just know that they're going to call you anytime in a block, right? So it's
right,
so
right.
yeah, so it's, you might miss the call, you might not, but realistically, the HLR review specialist is going to go off of everything that's in your record already. No submitting of new material, like you said before. That includes buddy letters. That includes anything. So yeah, that's really all I have to add to an HLR claim. It's beneficial.
Yeah.
And I like that it's alleviated a lot of the pressure off of the backlog.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. You mentioned that phone call, that informal conference call.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. You pick a block of time to get that chance to speak to the decision review officer, right? That you're actually going to speak to the person who's reviewing your entire claim. So that may be pretty beneficial in your situation, for a number of reasons. But one thing I have had a lot of my veterans reporting is they get a phone call to schedule that informal conference call, which I think is really, really awesome. It didn't always used to be that way. I know when
No.
I was going through the process, I filed a couple higher level reviews, and I would get a phone call 2 or 3 months later, without any warning, right? Like, it just comes out of left field, and I pick up my cell phone. It's a number I don't recognize, but that's what you want to do if you're going to select the informal conference call: is pick up any number that you don't recognize, because it could be the VA reaching out to schedule this HLR call, with that informal call, that conference call. So great point there. So you mentioned that sometimes an exam will be triggered with this HLR. So sometimes going through the VA disability process, when you file that initial claim, there isn't always a C&P exam ordered up for that condition or that claim, right? So if you file the HLR having not gone through a C&P exam in the past, this may trigger one, correct?
Correct.
VA therefore gathers some more evidence. So
Yep. And typically you'll receive a letter from the VA saying that they discovered a duty to assist error. And that's exactly what it'll say. And then if you're reading the rationale, and this is why we always tell veterans that getting that reading through your rating decision is really important. It'll tell you right there in the rationale why what the duty to assist error is and what they're going to do to correct it.
Yep. Yep. Another couple tidbits of information here. So the filing timing, you have that 1 year time frame to go ahead and file the HLR. So 1 year from that previous denial. So again, we touched on that a little earlier, but I think it's important enough to mention again. And then the average wait time, I mean, we're seeing anywhere from 3, 4, 5 months to get these decisions to come back. So that's kind of that average wait time. So again, you're going to practice your patience there, that standby to standby. So, one other thing I was going to say is, remember, you can't add any new evidence. But that HLR could be a really good route. One other thing that I would say here is you can't HLR and HLR.
Right.
Like if you get a decision back on your higher level review after getting a denial with your original claim, say you get a second denial via that HLR route, well, you're going to have to go the supplemental route or the BVA route after that. And we'll talk about that in a second. But just one thing you really got to remember, you can't higher level review an already higher level review decision, right?
Right. And you know, that's the amazing part about this, the AMA or the Appeals Modernization Act. Before, if you went BVA, typically your claim would die with the BVA.
Right.
Once they made a decision, there's really no redoing your claim. But with this one, you can do a supplemental claim, HLR. You can get more new and relevant evidence, do a supplemental claim, HLR. And you can keep your claim going until the VA finally says, yep, we've got enough information. We're going to go ahead and grant this condition. So yeah, it was a game changer for veterans everywhere, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. What about a supplemental after an HLR? And then another supplemental and then another HLR?
Yep, you can do that too, just as long as you're coming up with new and relevant information is the key.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, so just to quickly recap that higher level review option, if you're unhappy with that higher level review decision, you can go back to the supplemental claim process, which we spoke about earlier, or you can move on to this third and final option, the Board of Veterans appeal, the appeal to the Board of Veterans. Let's go ahead and discuss this last option here. Okay, this appeal process, the Board of Veterans appeal process, is directly to the Board of Veterans Appeals. Okay, so when you file an appeal with the BVA, you're putting your appeal on a very slow track, much slower than the other two options, to get to a judge, versus the other two ways, which doesn't go in front of a VA judge. Let's go ahead and break this down, Daryl. What does this mean for our veterans? What does this look like?
So for me, the only time I would ever suggest using this is when you've exhausted all your supplemental and all your HLR routes,
right?
Because now you are going to the BVA and you are asking the BVA to take a look, usually a judge, to take a look at your claim. So there are 3 different routes you can go within the BVA route. You can do the direct docket, right? That's where a judge reviews all the evidence themselves and then they make a decision. It's kind of similar to a higher level review. You're not going to be able to add more evidence.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got the evidence docket where you can add more evidence and it's looked at by a judge also. And then you've got a hearing docket where you can actually go in front of a judge, or usually it's done via either in the regional office or via video conference.
Yeah, conference call.
Yeah. And then they make a decision. But these do go kind of back to the legacy times where it does take a while. It is a bit of a process. It could take a year or more for the first lane, a year or more for the second lane, and then you're looking at probably a year to 2 years to 3 years for the last lane to see a judge.
So really exercising that gift of patience, right? That standby to standby to standby. Okay. Right. All right.
And if you're going to go that route, Caleb, make sure that you definitely know, right?
Yeah.
Definitely know, because you can't do anything with that claim while you're in the BVA route. You can't.
Right.
The only thing you can do is withdraw it and start over again.
Right. And I just want to recap that real quickly. So you mentioned we have our 3 appeal options, right? The supplemental, the HLR, and the BVA appeal. But then within this appeal, you have 3 lanes to choose from, and they closely mirror the HLR, the supplemental process, and then finally, basically standing in front of a judge, right? Like making your argument. When that happens, do you represent yourself, or is there a VA lawyer assigned to represent you? How does that work?
Well, unless you have a VSO, a Veteran Service Organization, you represent yourself.
Okay.
You can hire a lawyer to represent you, but typically it's a VSO or yourself.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So, and we talked about a few of these examples. The average wait time can be years. This is really, I would say, that final last resort after you've submitted all your evidence and after you've been denied with the other options, maybe once, twice, a couple times. So yeah. So okay. So that's broken down. Okay. Very cool. Very cool. We we're running. We've got about. Oh, we go. Oh, we've got some time. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and do some Q&A. What do you say?
I'm down with it, and I've actually got one that I'm dying to answer
All
here.
right, let's do it.
So, doing this job, being a rating specialist, being part of the management staff at the local regional office, and then going into this job here, veterans always come to me and ask me about sleep apnea. Okay, sleep apnea, sleep apnea, sleep apnea, and I want to tell you that unless you were diagnosed with sleep apnea in service, it is the most denied claim out there. Okay, and the reason it is because you don't have anything linking it, right? And we've had veterans try to go the link route where they're linking it to mental health, weight gain from mental health, um, just those routes, and they're not really successful because the VA most of the time, the VA doesn't recognize weight gain as a disability. So what they'll normally respond back with is something along the line that you could avoid being overweight by your caloric intake. So monitoring your caloric intake will reduce the threat of being overweight, which in turn will reduce the sleep apnea. Another big misnomer that the veterans have is that, well, I was seen at the VA hospital. They gave me a sleep study. They issued me a CPAP. Should be service connected, right? That's not the case either. So being issued a CPAP by the VA does not mean that it was linked to your service, right? The best route to go with this is either have it directly related to your service by being diagnosed while you're in service, or having a respiratory condition that you can link it to, rhinitis, sinusitis, asthma, deviated septum, something along that line.
Mhm.
Um, and we've even used GERD a couple of times from the acid reflux hurting the esophagus to get that service connected that way. But just you really have to have a strong nexus letter written linking that to whatever condition you want. Okay, but it is the most denied claim. So
Yeah.
usually I try to save that as like the icing on the cake only if we need to do it.
Right. Right. Yeah. 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 Absolutely. No, great point. Thank you, David, for asking the question there. Quick shout out to Ricky. He just chimed in. He's had a lot of success here with our organization. So humbled to be here, walking alongside our veterans each and every day, doing what we do, helping them achieve that life change. So Ricky, thanks for checking in with us. Always a pleasure to see you here on Facebook or in our classes each and every day. So thanks so much for the shout out. Appreciate
And,
it.
and thanks for calling me young too. I appreciate that. I'm probably older than Ricky is.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah. No. Great compliment there. Thank you so much. Let's see here. Scanning. Let's see here.
Let's go to Lakeisha Wallace.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Once again, just kind of going back, Lakeisha said, my claim was denied, but said I had many favorable factors, but need to still submit more evidence. It was for tinnitus and hearing loss. I have to wear hearing aids and still have ringing in my ears. So with tinnitus is the only claim that the VA will let a veteran self-diagnose,
Right.
because nobody knows if you have ringing in your ears or not. So they can say that you have tinnitus, right? And they can say that you need hearing aids, but getting that nexus and linking that to your service is the key part for that one. Okay, so they probably, and you can tell all of this by just reading your rating decision, right? We have
Right.
no link to your service. What do I need to get a link? I need to get a nexus, right? Or I have no diagnosis of hearing loss. And to be honest with you, folks, I wouldn't spend a whole lot of time on hearing loss. Hearing loss, unless you're almost deaf, is 0%.
Right.
So it's not gonna, unless you know you're deaf, it's not gonna help you. It's not gonna help you move that needle on your claim. Okay?
Right.
And the VA will still issue you hearing aids.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if the VA needs to give you hearing aids, they still will. But I think it's, I don't know, 99% of my veterans, if they're rated for hearing, it's zero. It's just that's just kind of that blanket ruling or blanket rating. So just kind of how that works. Let's see here. Bernardo asks, or he comments here. I had a denial, then a day later it went to an HLR, a higher level review, because they found an error. Is that normal? Not sure if he filed that HLR and it moved that fast, or if they pulled it back and they figured it out at the same time that they issued that. Is that human error? Is that technology? What's going on there, Daryl?
So usually with something like that, the denial. So every RVSR, rating veteran service representative out there, has to go through a quality check,
Right.
right? And typically they pull 5 claims, unless it's changed. They pull 5 claims per month per rating specialist. So that claim, your claim, could have been pulled and discovered that there was an error that the rating specialist made. And once there's an error like that, then they'll send it back to the rating specialist to correct the error that they missed or that they made. So a lot of times that's what happens with those. It got checked by somebody, and it could even have been a new rater who has a second signature that has to go through, and the second signature person found it. And I could go into like clearing EPs, the end products, and what EP codes are assigned to veterans claims, but we'll leave that for another time. But a lot of times, if an action is taken and it clears out, they have to reestablish the claim, and then they'll work the claim that way. And that might have been what happened with yours.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for that clarification. Hopefully that helps you out, brother. If you need any more clarification, and my apologies in advance. We won't be able to get to every single question that we have here, but on the back end of this video, it will be posted on YouTube after it goes through our editing process, and then we'll have our back end team go ahead and answer every question as possible throughout the comments section here.
Let's go down to John Harper's Burger.
Sounds good.
When submitting an HLR, do you need to submit your original evidence with the HLR? No. No, you do not. They have that of record already. So submitting it was just, in all honesty, it's just going to cause you more heartache than anything. So don't worry about submitting the evidence, the original evidence. The VA has it. Of course, if they don't have it, then that's the supplemental route.
Right. And the way that the VA now has switched over to how to file a higher level review, you can do that really easily through va.gov. And when you go that route, you actually can't even upload any old evidence or new evidence for that matter. So yeah, it's not even a possibility. But no, it's a great question. And like you said, if you have that new evidence, you would be going down that supplemental claim route. So yeah, awesome. Let's see, what do we have here? PTSD was denied. So Chris asked a question. I was deployed to Bosnia in the year 2000, was just recently applied for PTSD and was denied due to nothing showing in my medical records. What can I do to appeal? Kind of an open-ended answer there, and I hate to do that without any more specifics. It really depends on what you submitted with that original claim, evidence-wise. Did you have a nexus letter showing that you have a current diagnosis of PTSD, and was that written by a psychiatrist linking it back to your time in service? It may depend on your experience while you're over in Bosnia, the job you had over there, a few other factors there. But because you were denied and if it was just with your medical records, our recommendation at VA Claims Insider is go out and secure new evidence, file that supplemental claim, have them take another look at your claim with that new evidence. So I hope that helps you out, Chris. And I guess that's kind of the perfect segue as we kind of start to close out here. We here at VA Claims Insider, we live to serve those who have served, right? Like, we are here to work with you, coach you along the way, cheer you on throughout this confusing disability claims process. I mean, and I'll raise my hand. When I signed up with this organization, I was stuck. I was frustrated. I had claim after claim denied at a certain point, and my coach was able to to help me slice through all the confusion and really get laser focused on what I needed to do specifically with my claim. Then it was my turn to go and run with the ball, right? Like take ownership of my claim, run with the ball, and charge towards that goal line. And that's what we get to do here each and every day. Daryl, myself, all the other fantastic coaches we have here with the organization, give them all a huge shout out. They work so hard day in and day out to one, stay current on VA news and VA changes, right? Like that, if we're not current, then our information is outdated to all of you veterans, right? Like, so we stay up to date on all of the information, all the VA news and changes coming out. And then by staying up to date on all of those things, we're able to pass that knowledge on to all of our veterans. So please, 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 if you need that one-on-one coach, if you need to join our specialty classes, if you want to just hang out with veterans and coffee with the coaches, and open up the day with that, like that's a fantastic way to open up the day. And then we get to business after that. We'll, get you on those one-on-one strategy calls, claim submission calls. We walk you through how to submit your claim. You log into the VA portal as appropriate, and we walk you through the entire process. And then, as your coach, we're going to help you with that most important day of the entire VA claims process, that C&P exam. And we'll have that preparation time together, whether it's in a classroom setting or a one-on-one setting. So again, if you need our help, come hang out with us. We have a great time doing it. We have a lot of fun because we believe in enthusiasm around here, right? So we're very enthusiastic with our team here within the organization, and we try to pass that on to each and every one of our veterans, even through difficult decisions and denials. I believe you still can find that positivity and that enthusiasm through the rest of this process. So anything to add there, Daryl, as we wrap up?
Yeah, I kind of want to point out, so we didn't get to a lot of questions on here, which, that happens in a forum like this. But I guarantee you that if you have that question, there's another veteran that has the same question.
Right.
So coming into those classes, coming into that coffee with the coaches in the morning, attending those things, a lot of times those questions get answered during that time. And you'll find that you're not alone in this process, that there are literally thousands of veterans that have the same issues that you have, and struggling through the VA red tape, bureaucracy, whatever you want to call it, the process, struggling through that process. All the coaches here are trained to help you maneuver through that process. And we're a big family here. So, if you have a coach and they don't necessarily know the answer, there's somebody else that does. So we help each other out. We work through the processes. We get those veterans what they deserve, legally, morally, ethically. And it's a huge family here. It's just, coming from the VA to this company has been an eye-opening life changer for me. So, that goes out to Brian Reese, the CEO and founder of the company. But God, if you guys need help, sign up, come see us, do that 30-minute discovery call. Just do what you got to do to get that compensation you deserve. Don't wait and decide if it's, take action now, take action today.
Right. Yeah, no, I couldn't have said it better myself, Daryl. No, that's exactly what we do. And it's exactly what we believe around here. If you need our help, veterans serving veterans, please reach out to our organization, VA Claims Insider, grab a spot on that 30-minute discovery call link here in the chat, vaclaimsinsider.com. We'd love to be a part of your VA claims journey. So please take the step, join us, and we will give you our all. I promise you that. Thank you so much for joining us, Daryl. This was a lot of fun. An hour has gone by. So
I know we got to start doing these for 2-hour times. I think
maybe that's what it is. Yeah, 2-hour shows, 2-hour Facebook lives. Maybe that's
right.
What we do. So it was a pleasure co-hosting with you today. Thank you so much for your service, all you do for us here on the team. Really, really appreciate this time with you. Until next time, Daryl, take care. Caleb here signing off. Have a great rest of your Wednesday, and please reach out again. We'd love to be part of your VA claims disability journey. Okay, take care, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us.
And we're going to make this a Ron Burgundy moment. Have a great day or not. The choice is yours.
That's right. The choice is always yours. Take care, everyone.